times, Maven of the Eventide, and welcome back to the Vampire Library. Happy Halloween month. Yes, it is finally October again, my favorite month of the year, the best month of the year. It is spooky season, it is Halloween month. Halloween is an entire month because, you gotta put out the Halloween decorations. You have to have time to properly enjoy them. Halloween is not just one day. You decorate for the season. I put up my decorations a month ago because you have to have time to properly enjoy them. Well, actually, I have not put up many of my decorations because I have been saving them to share with you in this giant pile. You can't see it, but beyond this modest stack of books. I don't have that many books to share with you this time, but I have many things, many Halloween-y things. I'm so excited. I do have some books, which we will talk about first, as always, but once I share all of my new Halloween decor with you, I will then finish putting up my Halloween decorations, and then this month can get properly started. But first, as always, the vampire books. Yes, I'm making you wait for the good stuff. Not that vampire books aren't good stuff. Vampire books are the reason why we are here together in the Vampire Library, first of all. But even though this is technically a book haul video, as you have seen over the, 30 videos I've done for you so far in this series, now that I only do these videos for you once a quarter, I think I do about 4 of these videos for you a year now, I let the books pile up, but so does the things. And the Vampire Library has become more than just a book video. It is very much a things video too. So it's the Vampire Library and stuff. The Vampire Library has always had stuff in it. And, it's mostly books, but I would say we're not so much a traditional library. We're more like a vampire museum. I would say we're a vampire attraction. If I had a little haunted mansion on the side of the road and you were doing a road trip and you were welcome to stop in and have tea and questionably poisoned crumpets with me and welcome to tour my little vampire attraction, and select a book and read before, you disappeared from the face of the earth, never to be seen again, you would notice that there were many things to observe as well. Museum artifacts, articles, artworks, stuffies, lots of adorable, comfortable stuffies, pillows that you could just sink down into and relax and fall asleep, never to wake again. It would be a wonderful way to end your days at my haunted roadside vampire museum. It's great here. You should come visit me sometime. I'm so lonely. There might be a reason for that. The aesthetic is to die for. I'm just kidding, of course. So, who wants to talk about books? These are a cool couple of books that you sent me by R. St. Clair. The first is Code Red, The Vampires Are Running the Asylum. The second is Remembering the Dead, a book of poems, also by R. St. Clair. This one is from 2022. Ooh, it's autographed. Autographed by the author. Cool. Woodward Asylum, a private mental hospital located in Southwest Virginia, specializes in treating adolescent psychoses, including Renfield syndrome, an obsession with drinking blood. But when a young patient is committed because he believes he's a vampire, it turns out he wasn't lying. And soon, rapacious revenants are running rampant through the rural mountain community. Try saying that 5 times fast. I know, because I just did. But you didn't see it because I edit these videos. To fight the bodacious bloodsuckers, the local sheriff teams up with a candy striper and her moonshiner grandpa, who just happens to have an arsenal of war-grade weapons stored in his prepper bunker, as you do if you live in the mountains of Virginia, for a bloody country hoedown of epic proportions. St. Clair shows a lot of promise and talent, says Horror Palace. St. Clair has a knack for being able to speak to many walks of life, says Lydia Peaver. And the book of poetry has a picture of the author on the back with a cute little puppy. R. St. Clair is a writer of gothic horror and suspense fiction. She lives in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. In this slim volume of poems, horror and suspense writer R. St. Clair uses classical, at times whimsical, rhyming structures to explore themes of loss, love, and nature's wild passions. Graveyards, bittersweet memories, and the transcendent power of true love are its inspirations. Inside, bonus short story from the Gothic horror collection Demons Within. Cool. This stack of books may look familiar to you because I shared with you about a year ago the ARC copies. ARC stands for Advanced Readers Copies, but these are the official books. They are out now officially. This is the Blood and Ancient Scrolls series, and there are some additional books here that I didn't share with you, so I'm going to go over these again because I received these from the publisher at Hellmouth Con in California in June, which is the Buffy the Vampire Slayer convention. And the reason that these books by author Raven Belasco were featured at Hellmouth Con is because the audiobooks of this series are narrated by one of the actors from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Amber Benson, who played Tara, the witch, Willow's witch girlfriend when she went off to college. And the audiobooks are amazing. The publisher also sent me the audiobooks, and they are amazing. She does a wonderful audiobook narration. In fact, she does a lot of audiobooks. If you've not listened to Amber Benson's audiobooks, go listen to them now. She is amazing. But these are vampire books, and there are 3 books in the main series. It's actually going to be a trilogy of trilogies. The author said there were going to be 9 books, but each trilogy is one series, so each trilogy tells one set of stories, and then they all 9 tie together. So this is one set, and then this Blood Triad is several short stories compiled, and then we have a couple other mini short stories, Finding Bela Lugosi, that lesbian vampire pirate story. These are all stories set in the same universe. But just to remind you what this series is all about, I'm going to read you the summary from book 1. Blood and books and swords and flamethrowers and one librarian in over her head. How did I get here, covered in blood and holding a sword I can't use? It all started when the dark and mysterious stranger, he wasn't that tall, showed up at my children's reading hour. Of course I noticed him. I'd been single and bored for longer than I care to admit. Me, I'm Anushka Noosh Rossetti, head librarian. He turned out to be a vampire, and not just any vampire, Vlad Dracula, although he goes by another name these days, and he says he's changed his violent ways. He definitely seemed more a lover than a fighter at first. In a whirlwind of passion, I made a crucial but impulsive decision. Share blood with him a 3rd time and give up normal human society forever, making my life among the Amur. That's what vampires call themselves. The whirlwind just keeps spinning faster. Before I know it, I'm at an Amur summit meeting and then abducted by Vlad's oldest enemy, who's hoping to use me to undo all my new family's plans to save Amur society from tearing itself apart. I thought I was just going to archive some ancient books, but now somehow I have to keep myself from being used as a pawn by the craziest bad guy ever, escape back to the good guys, and I'm not even sure how good they really are, across a desert, I don't even know what country I'm in, and not be killed in the process. I don't know how I will survive the next 5 minutes, never mind save my beloved's life, too. A fast-paced, blood-soaked novel of passion, adventure, and vampire politics, as intimate as it is intense. I had the wonderful time of moderating a panel with author Raven Belasco and audiobook narrator Amber Benson while I was at Hellmouth Con, and you can watch that entire panel on my main channel right here. Click the little linky thing. You can even pause this video and go watch this video first. I'm giving you permission because the algorithm really suppressed this video. You know, there's like something weird going on with YouTube algorithm lately. It's like a whole big thing. Everyone's talking about it. So yeah, this video did not get any views. So go watch it now because you probably missed it. It is an amazing panel. Both of these ladies are hilarious and brilliant and intelligent. And Amber Benson is also an author of her own books, which I have one of them here. I'll talk to you about it when I get to it. And they both had amazing things to say about genre fiction, about vampires, about being female authors in a male-dominated genre, about all the research they did, because there is a lot of historical research gone into these books in particular because they take real historical figures and use them as vampire characters. And then in Amber's books, she uses a lot of mythology, which I'll talk about when we get to her books later. So the Blood in Ancient Scrolls series, I really enjoyed. The 2 audiobooks I've listened to so far. The 3rd one isn't out yet. They are working on it as we speak. Very fun, very dark, lots of bloody, gory action, but also very steamy. If you like romance and erotica, there's a lot of that going on there too. These vampires are very sexy vampires when they have time for it, which they don't often. Most of the time they are fighting for their lives, but they wish they didn't have to be. The Last American Vampire by Seth Grahame-Smith, who you will remember as the author of Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, which is not a vampire novel, but he is also the author of Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, which is a vampire novel, which I did not like. I did not think it was very good. I did not think it was very well written. I did enjoy the movie, only because the movie took the ideas from this, which were clever and funny, and then actually did them well, which I think maybe Seth Grahame-Smith is more of an idea man than an actually skilled writer, IMHO. So I don't know if this is going to be any good, but writers get better the more books they write, so maybe I'll like this one. Tim Burton says, the combination of history and horror in The Last American Vampire makes you feel like it's the real thing. I've always enjoyed Seth's mixture of humor, emotions, and believability. Have you, Tim? Have you? Vampire Henry Sturgis returns in the highly anticipated sequel to Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, a sweeping alternate history of 20th century America, New York Times bestselling author Seth Grahame-Smith. All right, Henry, what are you up to this time? In Reconstruction-era America, vampire Henry Sturgis is searching for renewed purpose in the wake of his friend Abraham Lincoln's shocking death. Henry's will be an expansive journey that first sends him to England for an unexpected encounter with Jack the Ripper, then to New York City for the birth of a new American century, the dawn of an eclectic era of Tesla and Edison, and the blazing disaster of the 1937 Hindenburg crash. Along the way, Henry goes on the road in a Kerouac-influenced trip as Seth Grahame-Smith ingeniously weaves vampire history through Russia's October Revolution and the First and Second World Wars and the JFK assassination. Expansive in scope and serious in execution, The Last American Vampire is sure to appeal to the passionate readers who made Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter a runaway success. It had passionate readers? Really? It did? Okay. So I guess this is just like a complete history of Americana from Abraham Lincoln's death up to at least JFK's death. We get the history of America through the eyes of this one vampire. So, see, the thing about Seth Grahame-Smith's writing that I didn't like with Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, is he takes something that exists, like the text of Pride and Prejudice, and then he inserts something else, which is fun to do. I'm fine with that, taking something and inserting things. I don't mind that he's using someone else's text. He's using American history, and then just, plugging things in. But the way he plugged it in didn't flow to me. He would just take something, have the thing exist, and then jump straight to the thing he plugged in. He wasn't weaving them together very well, so I'm hoping that this does more weaving. I would like to see more weaving, rather than a description of the JFK assassination, which the vampire will watch, and then the vampire will go do a vampire thing. And then a description of the moon landing, which the vampire will watch, and then the vampire will go do a vampire. I hope the vampire's existence and involvement in it will actually impact the events and change the events and do something cool. That's my hope for this book. We shall see. We shall see. Anthology of the Damned, Twisted Yuletide. This is not a Halloween book. This is a Christmas book, but I'm telling you about it now because you gotta have time to get it in time for Christmas. This was actually a crowd-funded book, but unfortunately you just missed your chance to get in on the crowdfunding. I just received it from one of the authors who's featured in it yesterday, so I didn't have time to tell you about it beforehand. I'm sorry. But this is a anthology, a collection of short stories, some of which are vampire stories. I don't think they all are. It's the Krampus. 13 Grinchly tales to read by the fire as you watch for the Krampus, featuring classic tales from horror masters such as M.R. James and William Douglas O'Connor, plus newer horror authors. This anthology collection harkens back to an era where scary stories were part of the holidays. It also features horrific chapter artwork as our gift to you. Ghost hauntings, holiday fiends, and Christmastide terrors, and those are just the authors. This set of spooky tales is a perfect reading material for lounging near the tree between sips of eggnog or ignoring your family at a nativity gathering. Each author in this collection knows what lurks behind the Yule logs. Pick it up now if you dare. So I don't know if any of these stories have vampires in them. I sure hope they do. But we've got stories like Santa Claus versus the Krampus, or How Mikey T. Jr. and I Saved Christmas, Joyzy style, Ginger, the Oak King, The Treasure of Abbot Thomas, Naughty and Nice, Zombie P.I. Holiday, The Bells of St. Nicholas, Memoirs, Ghosts, Dust and Dead Bugs, They Shall Not Grow Old. Oh, that could be a vampire one. The 12 Days of Murder, Krampus Nacht Carol, Toy Soldiers, The Naughty List, Origins of the Santa Tracker, Horror Story for Christmas, Hell on the Shelf, The Ghost. So as always, with all these videos, I put a link down in the description of the videos with a list to all the books and things, if I can, that I talk about in the videos so that you can easily find them and acquire them if you so desire yourself. I've made so many of these videos that there are multiple lists because there's a limit on Amazon to how many things you can put on lists, which is 400. So I have 3 lists going so far. Might be 4 by the time I'm done with this video, but they are all down there, so just click on the list, and the things I talked about in this video are always the most recent thing on the list, so they'll always be at the top of the list, so you can always look and see. And if something like this, which is brand new, it's just been crowdfunded, so I might not be able to link to it yet, you can always come back and check the list later, and I will have added the link to it by then. Those lists are in the description of like every single one of my videos, so just go to any one of my videos and you'll be able to find those lists and look back and see any of the things I ever talked about in any of these Vampire Library videos and be like, oh right, Maven recommended that. I want to put that on my Amazon wish list, and then maybe someone will get it for me for my Krampusnacht holiday gift. Victorian Age Vampire, A Morbid Initiation, Book 103 by Philip Wool. This is a World of Darkness publication. So in the Vampire the Masquerade universe. A Gilded Age, a gaslit horror. Regina Blake believes her mother to be the victim of murder and conspiracy. Foregoing caution and propriety, she tries to uncover the truth and bring the culprits to justice. With every step, however, she uncovers more and more evidence of a secret world of danger, sensuality, and sin. With the beautiful Victoria Ash as her guide, she peels back layer after layer of this benighted world until the true horror of it all stands exposed. Will discovering the truth be worth damning her soul? Probably. Becoming a vampire is always worth it. This came out in 2002. Its first printing was in 2002, but I wonder if this is a new printing. This looks like a new printing. It doesn't say when the new printing came out. I think it's a recently reprinted book from 2002, and now it's back by Crossroads Press. Crossroads Press, doing the good work, bringing these books back. And another one in the World of Darkness collection, printed by Crossroads Press. We have Book 1 of the Grails of the Covenant, To Sift Through Bitter Ashes. This printing is a bit hard to read. By David Niall Wilson, who you will remember that we have discussed before. Vampire the Dark Ages. Medieval setting. Obsessed with acquiring the Holy Grail for the Lassombre clan, the vampire Montrevant sets out on the quest that leads him through the establishment of the Knights Templar, the lair of an ancient Egyptian evil, and the deserts of the Holy Land. Dark forces are pitted against him, and each ally must be watched in turn as treachery leads to deceit and back again in a race against time. The Church and the mysterious Clí Codish, who are more ancient even than Montrevant's sire. Only persistence, luck, and the power of his own will can see him through to his goal, and any mistake could mean his destruction. This novel is the first book in the Grail's Covenant, a trilogy set in the world of Vampire the Dark Ages. This one was originally published in 1997. Classic, coming back. Modern Marvel's Victoriana, a gothic horror novel, written and illustrated by Wayne Reginald, creator of the highly acclaimed Pulp Heroes trilogy. 9 incredibly unique individuals trapped in a deadly battle between an ancient evil and the vampire nations, mankind's last hope, with an all-star cast of characters including Henry Rider Haggard, author of Alan Quatermain. You would remember him from League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Arthur Conan Doyle, author of Sherlock Holmes. Jules Verne, the father of science fiction. Okay, I guess we're forgetting about Mary Shelley. Herbert George Wells, author of The Time Machine. Mary Shelley, author of Frankenstein. Harry Houdini, the Handcuff King. Bram Stoker, author of Dracula. Nikola Tesla, the master of electricity. Edgar Allan Poe, author of The Raven. Really? That's it? You know, he was ahead of science fiction before Jules Verne was. Okay, Countess Elizabeth Bathory, a.k.a. the Blood Countess. Varney the Vampire himself. And Count Vlad Dracula, the Prince of Darkness himself. Paranormal investigators and adventurers, archaeologists of history, vampire slayers. Okay, so the actual authors are characters in this book going up against vampires, apparently. Whoa, there are a lot of chapters in this book. This came out in 2016. Does not have any summary. Let's see. All the characters and incidents portrayed in this book and the names used herein are fictitious or are the product of the author's imagination. Any resemblance or similarity to names, characters, events, or history of any actual persons, living or dead or zombie, is purely and entirely coincidental and unintentional. Some of the characters may have certain traits and or mannerisms that may seem to suggest actual persons, but we make no claim that these traits exist or at all in this combination, any person living or dead. I guess your lawyers made you put that in. I see. So there's no summary, but I guess it's just these authors going up against vampires. Cool. It's kind of like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, only it's the authors instead of the characters, sounds like. Sounds fun. The Forever Kiss by Angela Knight. A vampire romance. His most dangerous weapon is his kiss. I wonder if kiss is a metaphor for his bite, or if it's actually his kiss, and that's more dangerous than his bite. He has a cowboy hat, and a vest, and a holster with a gun on it. So I'm guessing it's a cowboy vampire romance. 2004, by Red Sage Publishing. For years, Valerie Chase has been haunted by dreams of a man she knows only as Cowboy, capital C. When she was a child, her fantasy Texas Ranger rescued her from the nightmare vampires who murdered her parents. As an adult, she still dreams of him, but now he's her seductive lover in nights of erotic pleasure. Yet Cowboy is far more than a dream. He's very real, and he's a vampire. For years, Cade McKinnon has protected Valerie from Edward Ridgemont, the sadistic vampire who turned him, capital T. But now Ridgemont is determined to take her for his own, and Cade is the only one who can protect her, and he means to do just that, even if he must kidnap her to do it. When Val finds herself abducted by her handsome dream man, she's appalled to discover he's one of the vampires she fears. Now, caught in a web of fear and passion, she and Cade must learn to trust each other, even as an immortal monster stalks their every move. Their only hope of survival is the forever kiss. Battling vampires, a protective ghost, and their ever-present battle of good and evil keep an excellent pace with the erotic delights in Angela Knight's The Forever Kiss, a book that absolutely bites with refreshing paranormal humor. Okay, so it's a funny book. That's cute. And it has a ghost. Of Masks and Martyrs by Christopher Golden. The Shadow Saga. In his world of vampires and dark magic, Golden presents us with a complex canvas to rival Brian Lumley, who you would know as the author of Necroscope. They are called shadows. Led by Peter Octavian, they must drink blood, yet they do not steal life. New shadows, capital S, are created only by individual choice. They even count humans among their ranks. Peace is their only hunger. The minions of Hannibal have a different goal, the enslavement of humanity. They kill for pleasure and for thirst. They indiscriminately create more of their own, and they embrace the title of myth, the terrible legend, vampire. Shadows and vampires, one and the same, and now, once and for all, their war will be decided. Bram Stoker Award winner Christopher Golden returns to the horrifying world he created in his acclaimed novels of Saints and Shadows and Angels' Souls and Devil Hearts, a world where vampires hold the fate of humanity in their bloodied hands. The full Shadow saga of Saints and Shadows is the first one, Angel Souls and Devil Hearts is the second, and Mask and Martyrs is the third. Why do you send me sequels to books I don't have? Now I just have to go out and get more books. Blood Boy, a novella by Phil Hall. This is a former library book from the Springfield Greene County Library. It's no longer the property of the Springfield Greene County Library, according to the stamp. It doesn't have a summary on the back, but I was skimming through it, and it doesn't even have any, like, metadata in the front or, like, copyright information or anything. It's just text. It's really interesting. Like, I don't know if it's self-published or what, because usually a library is not going to have a self-published book in it, so it's got to be a real book, right? But, like, I don't know who published this. But I'm just going to read you the first page, because it's Blood Boy. It's not easy being an immortal demon of the night. Sure, everyone likes the perks, ageless immortality, and fantastic powers of evil, but no one likes the downside, boredom, loneliness, excruciating endless pain, etc. I tried for 100 years to find anyone, to stick it out with me. It always ends the same way, an agonizing, painful death. True, this death is given to them usually by me, but don't worry, I stick to them real good. Let me start by saying that destroying a bloodsucker isn't pretty. To stop their goddamn beatless heart, you must drain them completely of blood. If you don't, they just wake up hungry. For this purpose, I use a hollow metal stake to pierce the hearts of my loved ones. Sometimes they may scream things like, "Wait, stop, I changed my mind, I changed my mind." But in the end, when the last of their cold, rich blood spouts out of the end of the stake, we all know I did the right thing. At this point, you may ask, "Holy shit, Blood Boy, how do you go on?" My answer to this question is simple. Someone has to. Bitches. I know I sound like a wise ass, but if you don't like it, blame it on my upbringing. I was just a simple farmer boy raised by maize farmers. From when I was just wee-high, I worked in the dirt with my parents, running barefoot up and down the corn rows. I was not independent yet, even by the standards of that bygone era. I was 5 years too young for taking control of my life or being what they call a teenager now. So 5 years too young to be a teenager would make him 8, I guess? Wow. Blood Boy. Bitches. Notes from a Totally Lame Vampire Because the Undead Have Feelings Too, by Tim Collins, illustrated by Andrew Pinder. I think we've talked about this before, but Paul found this at a kids' consignment sale, so I'm going to tell you about it again. Nigel Mullet isn't your typical teenager. He's a vampire. But unfortunately, when Nigel transformed, he didn't become all broody and interesting, and as for super strength and speed, well, forget it. Nigel got acne, a voice that squeaks, and a tendency to break out in a rash, not sparkles, when exposed to the sun, and still has absolutely no idea how to talk to girls. Nigel just may be the first and only lame vampire on record. When a beautiful new girl comes to school, Nigel is determined to impress her. Of course, that would mean actually speaking to her, and he will, eventually. But until he can win the girl in the respect of his family, Nigel will just be utterly lame. Poor Nigel. It's very in the style of Diary of a Wimpy Kid. This came out in 2010, of that era. This is cool. This is a magazine that my friend brought me from the UK. History of Vampires, uncovering the bloody truth behind the undead of folklore, shocking tales of real-life vampires inside, vampires around the world, ancient origins, myth versus reality, from the makers of All About History. So it's just like a glossy magazine full of vampire fluff pieces. And my friend brought me this in July, so it wasn't even like coming out for Halloween or anything. The Vampire Hunter's Handbook, Medieval Menace or Literary Fiend. It's got, of course, a full section on Vlad the Impaler, like they always do. Elizabeth Bathory gets a section. It's very beautiful, full glossy color illustrations, lots of cool articles. Vampire Primer 101. Oh, there's our boy. Smells nice. This is a copy of Cinefantastique from 1994, which is when the Interview with the Vampire movie came out. And this issue is from December. So this came out after the Interview with the Vampire movie came out. But the article in it was written before the movie came out. The reason this got on my radar and had me and my friends looking for this copy on eBay, and I found this for 99 cents, was because we were looking through Anne Rice's diaries, which you can read at Tulane University. And she said in her diaries that the director Neil Jordan, who just did a Ask Me Anything on Reddit recently about the Interview with the Vampire movie. He was the director of the Interview with the Vampire movie, and he didn't ask me anything on Reddit just a few days ago, which we were all very excited about. But he notoriously beefed with Anne Rice the entire time that he was filming with the Interview with the Vampire movie. She was extremely controlling about what she wanted that movie to be, and he was not standing for it. He did the movie his way. She was very upset. And she was very publicly outspoken about how unhappy she was with it, which is not a good look. You keep that stuff to yourself. But she never kept anything to herself. And back in the days before the internet, she was taking out like full-page newspaper articles in actual newspapers to air publicly her feelings about how unhappy she was with the way the movie was going. Like when Tom Cruise was cast, she took out newspaper articles saying that she did not like his casting. She thought he would be a terrible Lestat. But then like after she saw the movie and she saw what a great job he did as Lestat, she printed an entire newspaper article retraction saying, I thought he did a great job. But one of the things that my friends were joking about that they wanted to ask Neil Jordan in his Reddit Ask Me Anything was like, you know, asking about the beef with Anne Rice and asking about how he was going to do more movies of the rest of her books. He was going to make a Vampire Lestat movie. He was going to make a Queen of the Damned movie. And he said, like, one of the things Anne Rice said was that she would have done it if he wouldn't be the director. And the studio said they would do the movies if he would be the director. And the only way the studio would do the movies was if Neil Jordan would be the director. And Anne Rice said the only way she would allow the movies to be done was if he wouldn't be the director. And that's why the Vampire Lestat movie was never made back in the 90s. But Neil Jordan said in his Reddit Ask Me Anything was that he would have done the movies if Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt would have come back for them. He didn't say anything about Anne Rice, which I don't know if he was just being tactful or if, you know, the rest of the story is misconstrued. But anyways, when we were looking through Anne Rice's diaries, one of the things that she had to say about him was his remarks in Cinefantastique were just terrible. Like, she mentioned this magazine's name and said something about his remarks and about, like, how awful they were. And I was like, wait, what was the date on that diary entry? Let's figure out what issue of that magazine it was. So my friends looked it up and they figured out that it was this issue and then looked up on eBay and found a copy of the issue. So I went and I bought it. And I read the article to find out what his remarks were and why she was so mad about what he said. So even though this article came out after the movie came out, after she had seen the movie and she realized she actually did like the movie, this article was written before the movie came out. And it's Neil Jordan and the producer of the movie, Stephen Woolley, talking about how much Anne Rice doesn't like the movie as she's seeing it being produced, because she hasn't seen it yet at this point when they were being interviewed for this article. And, like, how wrong she is because, you know, they think it's going to be great and, you know, not saying nice things about her because she wasn't saying nice things about them. They're basically defending themselves and saying that she is in the wrong. Now that I see that this article came out after that she would have seen the movie, of course she's going to be upset to read this and be like, but I did like the movie. Why are they saying all this mean stuff about me now? I went after I've already seen the movie and said I liked it. So this is just really unfortunate article timing. But it was really cool to find this old magazine and, you know, read this sort of encapsulated timepiece and reading just these really candid people's opinions, just like trash talking Anne Rice and talking about their experience working with her and just what it was like being on set with her and talking about their experience working with Tom Cruise. Oh, and he's also defending Tom Cruise in this. He's talking about all the rumors about what Tom Cruise was like on set, about how Tom Cruise had all these rules rumored, like people weren't allowed to look him in the eye, people weren't allowed to like come within so many feet of him. He's like, oh, none of that was true. If Tom Cruise has certain like contract rules in order to be on the movie, he threw them all out the window for this movie because he wanted to be in this movie that badly that those rules that he normally has to be in movies, none of them applied to this movie. And he was a delight to work with on this movie, and any rumor you heard about him wasn't true. So yeah, if I've mentioned any rumors about Tom Cruise in Interview with a Vampire in my past videos, I was wrong, because apparently, according to Neil Jordan, none of them were true. So this is a great article to read. It was 99 cents on eBay, which, you know, back in 1994, this would have cost $10.95. So with inflation, that's a great deal. Before we get to the non-vampire books, I have a couple vampire DVDs. This is the Midnight Horror Collection, Blood Predators Collection, including The Vampire Conspiracy, Fist of the Vampire, Curse of the Wolf, Bachelorette Party in the Bungalow of the Damned. Okay. What is Fist of the Vampire? As an undercover detective infiltrates an illegal underground fighting ring, he begins to piece together bizarre clues connected to an unsolved murder. And when he discovers that the ring is run by bloodthirsty vampires, the underworld of the undead becomes more dangerous than ever. It's not rated. Violence, profanity, adult situations, nudity, drugs use. When did this come out? 2010. There's no individual dates on these movies. I guess they're all from 2010. The Vampire Conspiracy. 5 people are abducted by a maniacal vampire and put in a deadly maze of wits and oh, it's like Saw, but with vampires. If they make it through alive, the vampire's fortune is theirs. Oh, the vampire has a fortune. If they fail, they'll be placed back in the game forever as bloodthirsty slaves pursuing the next round of victims. The group must discover the connection between them to solve complex clues and survive the band of slaves to escape a twisted game of predator and prey. So wait, the vampire is running the maze, but like, are they actually doing anything with the vampires? Like, is it a vampire movie if the vampire is just like in the background, like the Saw guy being like, you must solve my puzzles 3 in this maze? Or are there actually like vampires in the maze? I'm not going to read you about Curse of the Wolf or Bachelorette Party in the Bungalow of the Damned. Are there vampires in that? I don't see the word vampire, so no. This DVD has seen some use. Wow. And this one, which I bought for myself because nobody dislikes me enough to actually buy this for me, is season 2 of Interview with the Vampire on Blu-ray because I have to own it. It's for work. I get it for the special features. It's got the pre-premiere inside look, the behind-the-scenes show me more episodes, the episode insiders. Have to have it for the collection. Yes, I know. I have very mixed feelings on this TV show, as I've talked to you about in depth. But yes, of course I'm going to buy the DVD. It's Anne Rice's Interview with the Vampire. I mean, Blu-ray. You excited about season 3? Yeah, there's a reason why I haven't done any videos yet about season 3. You don't have anything nice to say, say nothing at all. But you know what is coming out very soon? Talamasca. I have lots to say about that, but I'm not allowed to say any of it until October 16th. That's when the review embargo lifts, so you'll be hearing all of my thoughts about the Talamasca TV show after October 16th, and the actual show comes out on October 26th, so I will be able to talk to you more in depth entirely about it after it actually comes out, but I will be able to give you non-spoiler thoughts after October 16th. Anne Rice is the Talamasca, set in the exact same universe as Anne Rice's Interview with the Vampire and Anne Rice's Mayfair Witches. Talamasca is actually a vampire show. It has multiple vampires. So this is the book I was telling you about before, Death's Daughter, a Calliope Reaper Jones novel by Amber Benson. Amber Benson has actually written many books. This is just the one that I happen to physically own a physical copy of that I can actually show you. Calliope Reaper Jones is actually Death's daughter. Death in this universe is a corporation, so her father is the Grim Reaper, as in the CEO of Death Inc. And the plot of this novel is that her father gets kidnapped, so she has to take over as temporary CEO of Death Inc. to run the corporation, but the Devil's protege also wants to take over the corporation, so first she has to, like, solve their riddles 3 to prove that she's worthy to be the one to take over the corporation. And I got this book to prepare myself to interview Amber Benson at HellmouthCon, which this swag fan is from. You can see it says HellmouthCon there. I got this from the green room at HellmouthCon. I don't know if everyone got these swag fans, but they were in the green room for us to take. It's got blood on it. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. There's Amber Benson. For the last few years, I'd been in a state of bliss, living under a self-imposed forgetting charm because I so did not want to go into the family business. What I wanted was a glamorous career in New York City and the opportunity for a normal life. Buying designer shoes on sale, dating guys from Craigslist, web surfing for organic dim sum for my boss, and then my father's executive assistant, a fawn named Jarvis, showed up to tell me that my dad had been kidnapped. Goodbye forgetting charm, hello unwanted responsibility. Not only am I expected to step up into the CEO slot on the company board, but I have to prove my worth by competing against the Devil's protege, who's so hot in more ways than one. The contest involves finding 3, why is it always 3, objects of power in hell. One of them is this adorable puppy, who happens to be a hellhound. The others are turning out to be not much fun. All this so I can take unwanted charge of Death Inc. My name is Calliope Reaper Jones, and I'm Death's daughter. Again, you can watch me talk to Amber Benson herself about this novel and her work on Raven Belasco's audiobooks in the Blood and Ancient Scroll series in this video, which I talked to you about before, which is on my main channel, not on this channel. You have to go over to my main Maven of Eventide channel and definitely watch that video because the algorithm did not show it to you earlier and you missed it. So please go watch it. It is a wonderful conversation. You're going to have so much fun. Speaking of death, this is volume 8 of Lore Olympus, the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition for my second Lore Olympus collection. I showed you volume 8 of the regular edition. Now I have volume 8 of the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. I almost have the complete set. I think there's 10 volumes total in each set. So we are getting close to the end of the story. Can you believe it? My shelves are getting very full. Like, imagine this many books on my shelf times 2 of Lore Olympus. I need more bookcases. I love this series. A copy of I Was a Teenage Weirdeer by C.T. Phipps and Michael Sutkiss. I've already talked to you about this book, but since you sent me another copy, I'm going to tell you about it again. Jane Doe is a weredeer, the least threatening shapeshifter species in the world. Blessed with the ability to turn furry at will and psychically read objects, Jane has done her best to live a normal life working as a waitress at the Delightful Diner. She has big dreams of escaping life in the supernatural-filled town of Bright Falls, Michigan, and her 18th birthday promises the beginning of her teenage dreams come true. Unfortunately, her birthday is ruined by the sudden murder of her best friend's sister in an apparent occult killing. Oh, and her brother is the primary suspect. Allying with an eccentric FBI agent, the local crime lord, and a snarky werecrow, Jane has her work cut out for her in turning her big day around. Thankfully, she's game. Set in the same world as Straight Outta Fankton, which we also discussed previously, the Straight Outta Fankton world, which were vampire books. So I don't know if there are any vampires in this shapeshifter book. There might be. Thank you for the additional copy. Now I have one to loan to friends. Hauntings, Tales of the Supernatural, edited by Henry Mazzeo, with drawings by Edward Gorey. I love Edward Gorey. This is a very old book that I found at my dad's house, but I don't remember from when I was a kid, so I don't know how long it was there. It was probably one of my mom's old books that got left behind there after she left. Copyright date is 1968, so yes, a very old book. Look at all these drawings by Edward Gorey. I love his art. These 17 tales are all in the best tradition of the supernatural story, authentically eerie, but more about the human spirit than about the spooks and specters. The Open Door, The Ghostly Rental, and Thus I Refute Beasley explore the relationship between parent and child in widely different ways. The Lonesome Place provides a strong insight into the nature of fear, and Where Angels Fear shows how it can overtake even the most skeptical. Well-known authors are presented here in what for them is an unusual manner: a speculative ghost story by H.G. Wells, a tale about a reanimated mummy by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, J.B. Priestley describing the psychological impact of cosmic supernatural beings. Perhaps the most unusual appearance is that of Edgar Allan Poe, not as a contributor, but as a character in a story about a rare book collector who brings the writer back to life so that he can produce new works. Among the other authors included are August Derleth, H.P. Lovecraft, M.R. James, John Collier, and Henry James. None of these stories is a spoof, but a comic undercurrent accompanies the chills in some. Well, that explains the Edward Gorey connection. Altogether, they represent a rich vein of British and American imaginative fiction. This is a book club edition. I love it. And I don't know how it's connected, but it must be connected in some way to these 3 books, which I talked to you about previously, because, first of all, they're all published by Doubleday, as you can see on the spine. And these all have the covers illustrated by Edward Gorey. So these are just collections of short stories. This is 2 Centuries of Vampire Stories. This one was a treasury of chilling tales, old and new, of ghost stories. This one is Masterpieces of Terror and the Supernatural, treasury of spellbinding tales, old and new. So just all of these collections of short stories of the horror variety. These ones just have the covers done by Edward Gorey. They aren't fully illustrated as this one appears to be. Well, this is drawings by Edward Gorey, so I don't know if there's drawings throughout or if it's just... Yes, there are drawings throughout. Come back here, I just saw... Yes! Ah! So one more from my Edward Gorey Doubleday collection. What you leave behind, mother, becomes mine. Now, so these 2, which also look like Edward Gorey covers, even though he is not credited, but not published by Doubleday, different publisher, so... Similar type of books, but from a different collection. This one is Painted Devils, Strange Stories by Roger Aikman. That's definitely some gory art there, I can tell. Still says a book club edition. Definitely the same kind of book flap, but Scribner's. I don't know if Scribner's is owned by the same parent company. Why it would have such a similar book flap? An extraordinary collection of exciting chillers by one of the most distinguished authors of his genre. This one is Cold Hand in Mind, Strange Stories, also by Robert Aikman. So 2 collections of Robert Aikman's short stories. I have never read any of Robert Aikman's strange short stories. These 8 stories draw the reader irresistibly into 8 strange worlds, uncanny, enigmatic, unearthly. Something chillingly wrong in each, a hint of diabolism or vampirism, a reincarnation of the living dead, all of which could be explained away as hallucination or hysteria. Or could it? So, not exactly vampire stories, but vampire adjacent. Dawn of the Dreadfuls by Steve Hawkinsmith. This is a prequel to Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, which we mentioned earlier, by Seth Grahame-Smith. Not the same author. So the way Pride and Prejudice and Zombies came about is Quirk Books, someone at Quirk Books had the idea for this book, and they hired Seth Grahame-Smith as a staff writer to write the book. It wasn't his idea. They hired him to do the book. So someone else at Quirk Books had the idea for a prequel, and they hired Steve Hawkinsmith as the staff writer to write the prequel. So different authors, same universe. So Dawn of the Dreadfuls is a prequel about Pride and Prejudice and Zombies universe of how the zombies came to exist. Same hive mind, different authors. Now this cool book I picked up at a craft fair when I was on vacation in Michigan from a local author there who was selling his books at a table. Always good to buy books from local authors who are selling their books at the table. They need it the most. And I met this very cool author. His name is T.C. Pendragon, and the book is Martin Blackbriar and the Necronomicon. And he autographed it for me. This book is from 2021, so it's been out for a while. A Legacy to Uphold. It's the story of our generation's witch and the wizard. Martin and Allie Blackbriar, they will wield all the powers that magic can offer, provided they can survive against the forces that wish to use them, or end them before their journey even begins. A lot to learn. Magic has been hiding in the public eye for thousands of years, as parlor tricks, as superstition, and as urban legends. But true magic is nothing like it is in fairy tales. It's an art form that balances ancient teachings with constant danger. If they are going to survive, Martin and Allie will have to learn magic faster than any witch and wizard before them. A killer to apprehend. The Blackbriar siblings are not alone in their struggles for greater power. As they learn of their destiny and begin their training, a legendary artifact falls into the wrong hands, the Necronomicon. It gives its wielder the power to kill anybody. If they're not careful, there's no telling what horrors await them. So the Necronomicon is the book from, no, not Army of Darkness, from H.P. Lovecraft's mythos, the Lovecraftian mythos, Call of Cthulhu, all of those things. So I'm very curious to see how Lovecraftian mythos works in with this book because, I have a certain soft spot for that universe. And the cover is very cool. I love any book with a skull on the cover. Here are some more books that Paul picked up for me at the kids' consignment sale. These are A Good Girl's Guide to Murder and Good Girl, Bad Blood by Holly Jackson. I think this is a trilogy. Yeah, the third book is As Good as Dead. I don't have that one. This is the story of an investigation turned obsession. Pretty and popular high school senior Andy Bell was murdered by her boyfriend, Sal Singh, who then killed himself. It was all anyone could talk about, and 5 years later, Pip sees how the tragedy still haunts her town. Now a senior herself, Pip decides to re-examine the closed case for her final project. At first, just to cast doubt on the original investigation. But soon, she discovers a trail of dark secrets that might actually prove Sal innocent, and the line between past and present begins to blur. Someone in Fairview doesn't want Pip digging around for answers, and now her own life might be in danger. So this book series has been getting a lot of buzz lately. I don't know anything about it other than what I just read to you, but yeah, it's apparently really popular, so here's hoping that it's good. All of Us Villains by Amanda Foody and C.L. Herman. Blood before all. The blood moon rises, the blood veil falls, the tournament begins. Every generation, at the coming of the blood moon, 7 families in the remote city of Ilvernath each name a champion to compete in a secret tournament to the death. The prize, exclusive control over a hidden wellspring of high magic, the most powerful resource in the world, one thought long depleted. But this year, a scandalous tell-all book has exposed the tournament and thrust the 7 new champions into the worldwide spotlight. The book also granted them the valuable information previous champions never had, insight into the other families' strategies and weaknesses. And most important, it gave them a choice: accept their fate or rewrite their legacy. Either way, this is a story that must be penned in blood. So a dark, magical version of the Hunger Games, it sounds like, with a bit of conspiracy. Well, I guess Hunger Games also had conspiracy to it. But I like the tell-all book angle to it. All of Us Villains. Yeah, that's pretty much what the Hunger Games was, but this is just putting it right on the cover, isn't it? This is a duology, and from the way I've heard, this book is more like one big book that was split in 2, and you can't really read the first one without the second one, All of Our Demise. Don't miss the epic conclusion to the tournament, so you do have to get both books. I only have the first one. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I've been hearing about this book for a while, and now all of a sudden I have a copy. France, 1714. In a moment of desperation, a young woman named Adeline meets a dangerous stranger and makes a terrible mistake. It will be 300 years before she stumbles into a hidden bookstore and discovers someone who can remember her name, and suddenly everything changes again. She's not a vampire. What is she, though? As she realizes the limitations of her Faustian bargain, being able to live forever without being able to be remembered by anyone she sees, Addie chooses to flee her small village, and everything she once held dear is torn away. But there are still dreams to be had and a life to live, and she is determined to find excitement and satisfaction in the wide, beckoning world, even if she will be doomed to be alone forever. We're not quite alone, as every year on their anniversary, the alluring Luke comes to visit, checking to see if she is ready to give up her soul. Their darkly thrilling game stretches through the ages, seeing Addie witness history and fight to regain herself as she crosses oceans and tries on various lives. It will be 300 years before she stumbles into a hidden bookstore and discovers someone who can remember her name, and suddenly, everything changes again. In the vein of The Time Traveler's Wife and Life After Life, I have read both those books. Sounds interesting. I like stories about immortals. Charles Dickens Christmas Collector's Edition. I got this at a yard sale. And we were saying earlier with that haunted Christmas anthology that it used to be Christmas tradition to read ghost stories at Christmas, which is why Charles Dickens' Christmas Carol is one of the most famous ghost stories. So what do we have in here? Haunted Man and the Ghost's Bargain. It's a Christmas story. Christmas Carol, of course. The Cricket on the Hearth. I've never heard of that one. The Battle of Life, a love story. And The Chimes, a goblin story. Yes, spooky Christmas stories. Diary of a Fairy Godmother by Esme Raji Kodal. This is a very taped library book. Discard! No, thank you for sending it to me instead of discarding it. Children's book from 2005, Confessions of a Witch Gone Good. Hunky Dory is at the top of her class in charm school. She can make flowers wilt like wet spaghetti. She can make thunder rumble like a whale's bellyache. But her interest in wishcraft over witchcraft gets her kicked out of school. Now, she's determined to follow her heart and become a fairy godmother. But how to go about doing it? She gives a woodsman a new mustache and grants Wolf his strange wish for a grandmother costume. Yet it all seems so unsatisfying somehow. Does the woodsman really look better with a mustache? Finally, motivated by jealousy over her friend Rumpelstiltskin's crush on the girl in the room full of straw, she meets the ticket to realizing her career dream, Cinderella. This fresh, funny twist on fairy tales is just right for girls who are open to unconventionally happily ever afters. And boys, too. Boys can read books like this. I'm going to give this book to my fledgling spawn, who is not a girl, and I'm sure they will enjoy it. The Wicked Remain by Laura Paul, a Grimrose Girls novel, which means it's a sequel. Grimrose Girls, the last 8, the first 7. So this is the 4th in a series? Why are you sending me the 4th in a series? At Grimrose Academy, a fairy tale curse has deadly consequences. So this is a fairy tale retelling. It doesn't say exactly what fairy tale it's retelling. It's from 2022, the 4th in a series. Tale as old as time. The story started with Ella. So the first book was about Cinderella. So I don't know if each book is its own story and like they're standalones or if you have to read the other books. This one with like the roses and the sewing needles on it, like is this one supposed to be Beauty and the Beast? I don't know. I can't tell. I'm not going to read the summary because I don't want to spoil it just in case it's a sequel, but I'm curious. I do love fairy tale retelling, so I'm going to look up the Grimrose Girls, the last 8 and the first 7 to find out what those are first. Poisoner's Handbook. I've been wanting this book for a long time, so I finally found a copy also at my father's house on the shelf, which this is definitely not one of his books, so I don't know how it got there. It's mine now. This is a non-fiction book by Deborah Bloom, Murder and the Birth of Forensic Medicine in Jazz Age New York. A beguiling concoction, equal parts true crime, 20th century history, and science thriller. A fascinating jazz-age tale of chemistry and detection, poison and murder. The Poisoner's Handbook is a page-turning account of a forgotten era. In early 20th century New York, poisons offered an easy path to the perfect crime. Science had no place in the Tammany Hall-controlled coroner's office, and corruption ran rampant. However, with the appointment of Chief Medical Examiner Charles Norris in 1918, the poison game changed forever. Together with toxicologist Alexander Gettler, the duo set the justice system on fire with their trailblazing scientific detective work, triumphing over seemingly unbeatable odds to become the pioneers of forensic chemistry and the gatekeepers of justice. Yeah, it's marketed as a history book, but like told in a narrative style. So not fiction, but narrative, science/history book. Save the best for last. These books are all related to Phantom of the Opera, which you know I love. The reason why I save them for last is because I have a lot to talk to you about regarding the Phantom of the Opera today. Books first, books first. This is a copy of Masquerade by Terry Pratchett. It is a Discworld novel, and this is the Discworld novel that parodies the Phantom of the Opera. It has one of the witches going and joining, essentially, the Paris Opera and getting mixed up with the Phantom. She isn't Christine, but it's like a Cyrano de Bergerac situation where the Christine in this book can't sing. She's a terrible singer. So the Phantom thinks he's like training Christine to sing, but really the witch is the one singing. So the witch is singing for Christine, and Christine's like not singing, but it's the witch's voice sing. Yeah, I don't know. Doesn't have a summary on the back because it's just this pretty cover. Yeah, this was actually the very first Discworld novel I ever read, and I loved it. I was a bit confused because it's not the first in the witch series. Then I went and read Weird Sisters, and it all made a whole lot more sense. I haven't read a lot of Discworld. I'm mainly only interested in it for Death, so I collected this edition for all the Death books. I have the full Death set of the Death novels. I think I'm missing one of them, but I had to get Masquerade in this matching set, so this is my full Discworld matching set as far as I'm concerned. This is the Illustrated Classics edition of the Phantom of the Opera, not to be confused with the Great Illustrated Classics edition of the Phantom of the Opera, which is a children's edition. It's an abridged children's version with pencil-drawn illustrations. The Great Illustrated Classics edition has been out for some time. This Illustrated Classics edition just came out like less than a month ago. It's brand new. I just was like randomly scrolling on Amazon and it got recommended to me, and I'm like, why yes, I think I shall. You can see what kind of illustrations it has. They almost look like coloring book pages. That's the Persian. That's the Phantom like about to drown the Persian. That is an amazing drawing. You don't often get to see those scenes drawn. Like the great thing about these children's editions that have like the really sort of simple drawings is you get a million of them. Look, it's a drawing of the Phantom as a baby with his dad like smacking him and being abusive to him and his mom being like negligent in the corner. Like, come on, who else draws stuff like this? I love it. Brand new, just came out. Seriously, brand new by Wonder House. He looks so dashing. This really cool. The Stars May Rise and Fall by Estella Mirai. Dreams don't always look the way you expect them to. Teru came to Tokyo with dreams of making it big in the glam metal visual kei scene. But 3 years later, all he has to show for it is a head of hot pink hair and some skill with an eyeliner pencil. He may look the part, but he doesn't sound it, and constant bickering among his bandmates has him worried about his future. When he finds a mysterious business card in his bag, he's willing to take any help he can get. Help comes in the form of Ray, a crippled, disfigured composer whose own career was ended by an accident before it had really begun. With Teru's voice and looks, and Ray's money and songwriting skills, both of their dreams seem about to come true. But a forbidden kiss and a late-night confession threaten to tear it all apart. Now Teru, who has spent most of his life denying his attraction to men, and Ray, who vowed long ago never to love again, must reconcile their feelings with their careers and with their carefully constructed ideas of themselves. The Stars May Rise and Fall is an retelling of Phantom of the Opera set in Tokyo at the turn of the millennium. It comes with a healthy dose of angst and a dollop of nostalgia, as well as an age difference romance, a physically disabled love interest, and a memorable characters who will stay with you long after the pages are closed. A tender, beautifully complex love story about self-acceptance and self-forgiveness, about making peace with the past and embracing the future, with a couple you'll root for and a vibrant soundtrack you can almost hear. This Phantom-inspired romance captures music's power to heal old wounds and weave two very different souls together in perfect harmony. So, a gay Tokyo set Phantom modernized retelling. So cool. I am so excited about this. This was sent to me as a gift from someone who didn't sign it. They just said it was from a viewer. It's very mysterious. Very fan to me. I don't know who sent it. This came out in 2018, so it's been out for a while, but I have not heard of it before. It looks like it was self-published, so there are a lot of self-published Phantom of the Opera novels out there. They are very hard to weed through to tell which are worth reading, so I will take any recommendations you can give me. If you've read them and you say they are worth my time, I am very appreciative. So thank you so much for sending this to me and letting me know about it. I'm looking forward to it. Okay, so Phantom of the Opera. I have so much cool stuff to show you. Okay, so we're gonna work up to this. Okay, so first of all, this is a Phantom of the Opera Ultimate Phantom Edition. This is the Lon Chaney figure, which may look familiar to you. I may have shown you this before. So this version I found at a Meijer store when I was on vacation this summer. Meijer is kind of like Walmart. It was just sitting there on the shelf. They had tons of them. They had Frankenstein, they had Dracula, they had Nosferatu. It was just there on the shelf, so I bought it. And yes, I already had one, but now you know what this means? I can take this one out of the box and play with it. I can actually unbox this one and play with it, which I'm not gonna bore you with it now. I know people like unboxing things, but I have so much other stuff I have to show you first. So this one came from eBay. This one's old. This is a Toys R Us exclusive edition, if that tells you how old it is. The box is kind of falling apart, like this Universal Studios Home of the Original Monsters thing is falling down. This version of Phantom, Paul asked, he was like, why does he have a violin? The Phantom doesn't play the violin. Well, Lon Chaney didn't, but I will have you know that Claude Rains' Phantom of the Opera, who's a violinist, is also a Universal monster. That version of Phantom of the Opera, 1942 Phantom of the Opera, is also Universal. So even though this Phantom looks like the Lon Chaney Phantom, he's wearing the Lon Chaney mask and stuff, he kind of blends the Claude Rains version. He's got the violin. He also's got like a pimp cane in there. So I don't know if I'm going to take this one out of the box just because I only have one. What do I do? I get so torn about these things. Do I take him out and play with him? I don't know. Toys R Us exclusive edition. I found this on eBay. What else did I find on eBay? This one's very much Lon Chaney. This one has an organ. So the other one had a violin. This one has an entire organ to play. And yes, he has like the changeable hand. So he's got like his regular like come to me hand, but he also has his organ playing hands that you can switch out. And I want to take him out so I can set him up and have him play with his organ. Yes, it is a very common Phantom of the Opera joke. No, you aren't original for thinking it. We make that joke all the time in the fandom. Oh my god, look, there's like Lego-style mummy guys down here. The Paris Opera House is haunted. A shadowy figure watches every show from Box 5, and angry letters from the Phantom demand the understudy Christine Daae be given the lead role. If his demands are not met, the season will end in death. Based on the original 1925 Universal Studios adaptation of the novel, this figure accurately recreates Lon Chaney's hideous self-applied makeup, which was kept secret until the film's premiere, as well as the organ he plays when it's first unmasked. Yes, it does. Accurately recreates the Phantom's organ. Okay, those three were pretty, like, standard Phantom things. This one is, So this is from a line called Presidential Monsters, which apparently came out in 2011, but I am just now hearing about for the first time. And if you're not, why didn't you tell me about it sooner? So in the line of Presidential Monsters, we had Lincolnstein, we had Wolf Bill, that's Bill Clinton, he's Wolf, the Romney, who's the mummy, Baracula, Zombush, the monster from the Watergate Lagoon, and the Phantom of the White House is none other than JFK himself. Yes, this is John F. Kennedy, President Kennedy, as the Phantom of the Opera. And he's mine now. He's all mine. Also, found on eBay, his mask is like a classic tragedy mask, like theater tragedy mask, and in the box his face is being covered up by his cape. So like if I actually want to see what he looks like, I'm gonna have to take him out of here. But this box is so like, oh, what do I do? These eBay finds are not something that you can just find another one of and like have two because you can afford that. No. What do I do? Anyway, this has been a very Phantom-rific season for me. And not just because of the Universal toys, because guess what else happened, Phantom of the Opera wise? Do you know? It's back. So Phantom of the Opera closed on Broadway a couple years back. Yes, we were all very sad, but it's back. It's back on Broadway in a new form. The Phantom of the Opera has returned to Broadway in an immersive theater form, and it just opened up last month in August. I think like the very last end of July is when the preview started. And I saw the Phantom of the Opera immersive theater experience, and it was mind-blowing. It is so different from the original Broadway show. I mean, it's the same show, but done so differently with so many changes that it's an entirely new experience. And you have to go. Like, if you don't like theater, it's not theater. It is like kind of like going to a haunted house, walk through haunted house, but if the walk through haunted house was theater, because they are performing a full Broadway musical at you, but you're also in it at the same time, it's just so good. It's so good. So the special thing they were doing for the previews, if you were going before the official opening, and they actually just had their official opening like a couple days ago, so now it's open. I don't know if the rules are still the same, but for the previews, if you bought a ticket for the previews, is you had to dress up. The Phantom demanded that you dress up, and there was a very strict dress code. The Angel Music is very strict. You could only wear black and white and silver, and you had to be a very fancy dress, and you had to wear a mask. And if you didn't have a mask, they gave you a mask. So I wanted the mask that they gave me. So I didn't bring a mask. I was like, oh, I didn't have a mask. So they gave me a mask. So this is the mask that they gave me because I didn't bring a mask of my own. Black. And this is the white version of the mask that they gave you, which my friend who went with me was like, hey, can I also have a white version of the mask? And they gave it to her, which I didn't ask for. And then she let me keep it. So thank you. So that's the Phantom Masquerade. I don't know if they're still giving out the masks to guests who come because I don't know if the dress code is still in place. Like the impression I got was that after the previews ended, the dress code was going to stop and theater goers could just wear whatever they wanted to the show like you normally can. I'm sure dressing fancy is encouraged because as you are like in the show, you are part of the performance. So it would like look better to other audience members when you're like at the masquerade. Well, people are dancing around you and you're like at Christine's performance of Hannibal. Like if you look like you belong in the show, so it's probably encouraged, but I don't know if they still make you wear masks. So after the show, they had merchandise for sale, but unfortunately they didn't have very much merchandise for sale. They only had 2 t-shirts. So of course I bought both of them. The front says Masquerade. On the back, it's the chandelier falling. Front it says Masquerade. On the back it says, your obedient servant. The Phantom is my obedient servant. Hat says Sing for Me. Back it says Masquerade. And this is a stationery set. Includes cards and envelopes. Inside the cards are lined with black, the way the Phantom lines his letters with black in the show, which they took from the Lon Chaney movie. That's how he writes his letters in the Lon Chaney movie. Inside the lid of the stationery set, there's a little envelope that has stickers, little circle stickers with masks to seal your envelopes with. I don't think this is very great merch as far as merch goes. Like whatever they had for sale, I probably would have got. But like, come on, Phantom Masquerade, immersive Broadway theater experience, step up your merch game. This is so simple and plain and boring. Get some good stuff. Like this is what the program looked like the playbill for Masquerade. Like they didn't even have like an actual program yet. I'm sure they will. Like I'm sure it's gonna get more and there'll be plenty of stuff for people to spend money on, which I hope so because they can only sell 300 tickets a night. Like when you saw Phantom of the Opera on Broadway, they sold 1,600 tickets a night. So in order for this show to make its money back, like in order for it to make money and keep being a show, the tickets has to be super expensive. So if they sell more merch, then they can maybe afford to bring the ticket prices down, and then more people will be able to go see the show, because right now it's like $300 a ticket. Like, it's so expensive to go see the show. So, give us more stuff to buy. The Phantom of the Opera Broadway show and like the London show, they have so much merch. And like the shows that they have like in Japan, have you seen the Japanese Phantom of the Opera merch? It's so good. Actually, I could show you some of that, because my friend who came to New York to see Masquerade with me lives in London and brought me some of the London merch. Since you're coming to New York anyway, you might as well pick up the merch from London and bring it to me. In a Phantom of the Opera tote bag with the chandelier on it. Like these enamel pins. Oh, the Phantom of the Opera enamel pins. These are from the London production at His Majesty's Theatre merch stand. There's the Phantom mask, Phantom and Christine in the boat, the little marquee thing, the chandelier, the ticket stub with the mask on it, going on my pin collection. Blingy, sparkly keychain. It's got the mask, it's got the rose and a music note. Blingy, sparkly refrigerator magnet. Yes. Like, you could have sold these exact same things in New York at Masquerade. People would have bought them. I swear they would have bought them. Barrack! I finally have a Barrack. Yeah, they never sold these in New York. At least not whenever I was there. I know they sold a teddy bear in New York, but not this exact one. So I don't know if this exact bear was ever available in America. But this is the bear that they sell in London. Phantom of the Opera teddy bear with his velvet cloak lined with masks. I love it. I have a Phantom of the Opera teddy bear now. It's a straight Barrack. People are watching. This sweatshirt, also from London. Yeah, so this has been a very phantom-tastic season for me. I also have this sticker, which my friend gave me. It's the Phantom and Christine. This is like from an Etsy shop. Isn't it cute? It's holographic. And the one of them in the boat. So shiny. But there's so much more to spooky season than Phantom of the Opera. This is Halloween! I've got so much more to show you. Got my coffin tray full of little coffin things. So when Paul was at the kids' consignment sale, they had some Wednesday stuff for sale. So he picked me up the Wednesday card game. What is the Wednesday card game? It kind of looks like tarot cards. Step into the woeful game of Wednesday, where darkness reigns and colors cause allergic reactions. To prevent breaking out in hives and having the flesh peel off your bones, you'll use your innate selfishness and stubborn tendencies to collect deliciously dark cards and repel horrible putrid color cards. Aw, that's cute. He also found 3 of these Wednesday collectible figure things. Let's see, what do we have here? From Series 1, it looks like this is a Wednesday, so there's 2 possible Wednesdays you can get. This one looks like it's the Dance Wednesday. This one is an Enid. There's 2 Enids you can get. This is Dress Enid. And this one is a Gomez. Nice. What else is in my coffin tray? Oh, so I went to Bath & Body Works, and I got the Vampire Blood lip oil. The Bath & Body Works Vampire Blood collection this year came out in like July. Like, they're already well past their Halloween collections. Like, they're on to their other like fall collections now. So the fall collection scents that I bought this year are Book Loft. That's the one. I got the Book Loft collection for my fall scent. How could I resist a scent called Book Loft? It always disappointed me that Vampire Blood, like the body wash and lotion and stuff, smelled like fruit. Like, I'm not a fruity smelling person. I will smell like a Book Loft. But the lip oil, I can do the lip oil. This little guy, this is Otto from Squishmallows, who may look familiar to you, because we have him in the bigger size. And we have a little baby one. We had Big Otto and Little Otto. Squishmallows are not to be confused with Squishables, which I have been told are actually the original, and Squishmallows are like the knockoff brand, and Squishables were like the original. So I also got the Reaper pin of Squishables, which is this guy. So I have Otto and Squishmallows, this keychain thing, and the pin of Reaper and Squishables, which goes with this guy. Speaking of Grim Reaper, I have the Grim Steeper for my tea. The Grim Steeper. Gonna have some Grim Steepy tea. And a rubber magnet. Cute little rubber magnet. And this magnet, which I got forever ago, but I keep forgetting to show you because I usually have it stuck on my mirror downstairs. It's Grim Reaper magnet. I love this. So many magnets. Raven and a skull keychain. These pick things, which I got at TJ Maxx. I'm not really sure what they're for. I think they're for like, if you're making a wreath or a flower arrangement, you stick them in there. But it's like skull with sparkly rhinestone eyes and sparkly bats. I'll find something to do with them. I'll stick them in my plants. Some really cool art. These are both by the same artist. Got Vampira, Morticia, Lily Munster, and The Bride of Frankenstein. Card has an eye on it. Watercolor portraits painted in minutes by Anne and L. Mitchell, live paintertainment. Instagram is artofannmitchell.com. Cool. This collection of Agatha Christie postcards. I love Agatha Christie books. I've been actually listening to a lot of Agatha Christie books on audiobook lately. Something to do while I'm like doing chores or working on crafts. There's some free ones on Audible if you have an Audible subscription. They're really good to listen to. There's one actually narrated by Peter Dinklage. It's like a dramatized one. If you have Audible, I recommend that one. He's so good. It's art called Eggshells. It's a print of the original watercolor and ink painting by Jen Tracy. This painting of the Spooky Woods, which I bought at an art gallery while I was on my vacation up north. Love Spooky Woods. While I was in New York, I didn't go see Hadestown, but my friends did. And it just so happened to be on the night that was like their 1,000th performance. So they were having a very special event and they were giving away these free tote bags. So I wound up being able to get one for my friends who were there. And this is the tote bag they were giving away. It has the flower for Hadestown. It says, we're gonna sing it again. Oh, the 2,000th performance. Yeah, that was August 7th at Hadestown. I've seen Hadestown many times before, so I didn't go see it again. I went to go see a different show that night. I was very lucky to get one of these tote bags. I also bought some merch while I was there, but I can't show it to you because I've worn it and it's in the laundry. I bought the socks, the Hello Little Bird socks, Sing Me a Song, and the Our Lady of the Underground shirt. So this is a box of Count Chocula. It's actually empty because Paul ate it all. But did you know that Jim Henson's Muppets have, like, bought Count Chocula, or Count Chocula bought the Muppets or something? Anyway, Count Chocula is a Muppet now. All of the monster cereals are Muppets now. So celebrating 70 years of a monstrous legacy with Jim Henson, the Jim Henson Company reimagined the way we look as monsters by making them a joyful and friendly part of our world. To celebrate the 70th anniversary of the Jim Henson Company, our beloved crew of merry monsters are joining the family, thanks to the talented artists of Jim Henson's Creature Shop. Yep, so Count Chocula is now officially a Muppet. So now there are 2 vampire Muppets. 2! So, yeah, I have another Count Chocula box around here somewhere. Both empty. Paul keeps eating all the Count Chocula before I can have any. One with the regular Count Chocula and one with the Muppet. This is something I found in a consignment shop. It's a Where's Waldo puzzle from the 90s. Where's Waldo and the Nasty Nasties, which is a page from one of the classic Where's Waldo books that I had when I was a kid. Like, I remember doing this page, and it's just like a dungeon castle full of 1,000 Draculas. Like, the Nasty Nasties are all just Draculas. And then Dracula has some, like, dungeon guards. And then there's some, like, slaves, like, victims. And then some witches. So, yeah, all the men are Draculas and all the women are witches. There's a few mummies around, a few knights, but, yeah, just 1,000 Draculas. So Waldo is hiding in there amongst the Nasty Nasties. And it is a 550-piece puzzle, and it does have all the pieces. So it was very cool to find this, and I got it for $1 at a consignment shop. Very cool to find this puzzle. Loved Waldo as a kid. It was one of my favorite things. Speaking of puzzles, this is a puzzle that I found on the clearance rack at Books A Million. Yeah, see, it was 50% off, as is. So the box was a little beat up. I guess that's why it was as is, but, you know, it's still a brand new puzzle. And this is Book Club Gothic Novels 1,000-piece puzzle. So what Gothic novels do we have featured here? So here's a Dracula driving his coach. We have the Raven sitting on the bust of Palace. Here's some Wuthering Heights. Some creepy children. If I cannot inspire love, I will cause fear. Boredom is a pleasant antidote for fear. Oh, Frankenstein in the ice. Picture of Dorian Gray. There's the beating of his hideous heart. Storms. Yeah, lots of Frankenstein on here. Cool. Here we got a coffin. Oh yeah, even more Frankenstein. So Bronte, Mary Shelley, and Bram Stoker and Poe look to be the theme here. Nice, I love it. I like the cartoony look to it. From sinister London backstreets to romantic strolls around the country estates and dystopian family sagas, each book club jigsaw puzzle narrates the highs and lows, gasps and tears within a beautifully illustrated montage of page-turning classics. British designed, American made. These gravestones are coasters. They're very heavy coasters. Like heavy enough to be actual gravestones. See how thick they are? It's like one of the things where I'm like, I need to put out my Halloween decorations. I haven't had any coasters to use. I bought these weeks ago. Now I'll finally be able to use some coasters now that I've actually shown them to you. Gravestone coasters. Oh, they have little felt feet on the bottom. Nice, because they're so heavy. Yeah, because I had to put away my summer coasters. You can't use summer coasters in the fall, so now I'll use my gravestone coasters. All of my spooky drinks. Candles. So yeah, Michael's has tons of cool Halloween candles this year. This is a skull candle, but you can see it's like red on the inside. So once you start lighting it and burning it, it bleeds red. I don't know that I actually will burn this. Oh yeah, you can see like there's holes in the eye, so it will start like crying blood once you light this candle. But it's so cute. I don't know that I would ever actually burn this candle. These taper candles, I just love the shape of these. So gothy. Like they were all on sale 50%. Like I've told you before, never pay full price at Michael's. They always go on sale for 50% off or at least 40% off. This is from one of their Halloween line collections, the Dead Regency collection, my favorite collection this year of their 4 Halloween lines. The dress candle. Another bleeding eyes candle. This one, my boy, the Grim Reaper. I had to get him, of course. This one, I love. My boy's hand, Grim Reaper's skeleton hand, 2-wick candle. These ones I got from Home Goods. These are by Modern Alchemy, the Nocturnal collection. So this one with the spider on top, this is Brilliant Citrus and Musk, 3-wick candle. So they had different styles of this. This is the spider one. And then they also had a moth and a skull. And I couldn't choose which one was best. Like, they were all so beautiful. So I had to get all of them. The skull is sandalwood and myrrh. Look at that. So beautiful. And the moth is amberwood and oak. See, that's my name. I have to get a candle that has my name in it. Yes, Amber is my middle name. Speaking of candles, also from Michael's, I love this guy. This is not a real candle. This is an LED candle. Look at him. So I guess we're already on to the Michael's Halloween stuff now, so here we go. So a lot of times my local Michael's doesn't have stuff, so I'll just order stuff off the website. But I ordered something that I had a coupon for that they didn't have at my local Michael's. And what they sent me was this. This is not what I ordered. And when they sent it to me, it was broken. Like this thing was broken off. You can't tell if I glued it. But so I emailed them and I was like, this is not what I ordered. I would like to return it and get what I ordered, please. But because it was broken, they were like, okay, we'll send you what you ordered, but you can just keep that. So now I have this, which I didn't even have to pay for. I glued it. It still looks kind of messy, but if you don't look that close, you can't tell. So I got this for free. This is what I actually ordered. I love storage things, but like you can't tell, but it has like a pattern on it. It's so beautiful. It's a little cabinet. I'm gonna put so many knickknacks in here. So you know how I'm obsessed with the Michael's boxes that are shaped like books? Well, this year, they did something even better. Boxes shaped like coffins. Look at it. It's a box, but it's shaped like a coffin. Of course, they also had boxes shaped like books. Got Edgar Allan Poe, Grimm's Fairy Tales. It has a velvet lining. These two mirrored ones. These have the mascots of their Dead Regency collection on it. We have a skeleton lord and a skeleton lady in the chandelier. Storage. I ordered the teacup online, so you couldn't choose whether you were getting the skeleton lord or the lady, so I didn't know which they would send me. They sent me the lord, so he has his little top hat. Inside it says, "Freaks like me drink tea. We do." This piano pencil holder, which actually isn't from one of the Halloween collections, is from the regular fall collection, which was Blush Romance this fall. And it wasn't very spooky. The summer collection, the Gothic Bordeaux summer collection, was way spookier than the Blush Romance collection, but it did have some cool pieces like this piano pencil holder, which is definitely going with my Phantom of the Opera stuff. The Dead Regency collection has so much cool hanging wall art, but I had to limit myself because I only have so many walls. But I had to get this one because as Edgar Allan Poe, reading in his purple library, just like my purple library, with the raven over his shoulder. And this one, which has a grand escalier with candelabra going up. It looks very reminiscent of the Paris Opera House. Grand staircase, obviously not the same at all, but it reminds me of it. So of course I had to get this one. These two glass serving trays, we got the one with the chandeliers and the one with the ghost ball dancing room. This reminds me of the Haunted Mansion room where the ghosts are having their party, where, you know, when you go through the Haunted Mansion ride, they disappear and it looks like the room is empty. Then all of a sudden the ghosts appear and they're dancing and then they disappear again. That's exactly what this looks like, where you have the see-through people dancing in the ballroom. Cute little skull trinket box. So cute. Purple and black lacy pumpkins. I don't tolerate pumpkins any time of year except for Halloween. These are pure Halloween decorations. Like skull trinket box, that can go out any time of year, but these are Halloween decorations, and you need some of those. Like, your house can be gothy year-round. I live in a house that looks like the Addams family lives here, but how am I going to decorate for Halloween? I gotta do something special for Halloween, right? You gotta have something that makes your house a little extra special this time of year. So I put out lacy pumpkins. And this is one of my absolute favorite things that Michaels did this year. It's a pillow shaped like a book, and it opens up. So it's Edgar Allan Poe's tales, complete tales and poems of Edgar Allan Poe, and you open it up, and it looks like a book, and it's got him in there, but it's a pillow, and soft. You can take naps on it. Good job, Michaels. You did good this year. But I also could not pass up these two pillows. I know the black one's kind of hard to see. It's exactly the same as the purple one, just black, so I'll show you the purple one because it's easier to see in this lighting. Velvet. Damask. I don't know if you know this about me and Damask. Someone at Michael's knows this about me. Black and purple is kind of perfect because those are my Halloween decor colors. Like, I have one room in my home that's purple year-round. My library, not my vampire library, my regular library, where all of my non-vampire books live year-round. Well, not all of my books. You think all of my books could fit in one room in a house that's this small? Not that this is a small house, but it's certainly no Gothic castle or haunted mansion. I mean, come on. But yes, I do have one room, which I call my library, non-specific, where all of the books, non-specific, do live. And it is purple themed. It has purple curtains, as in the fluttering of each purple curtain. It has a bust of Pallas above the chamber door, a pallid one. Yes, it is vaguely Edgar Allan Poe themed. So I guess these cushions could fit in that library year-round, but for now, my bedroom becomes purple and black themed for Halloween. Usually my bedroom is kind of gold and pale blue themed, silvery blue, like a Marie Antoinette style year-round theme. Yes, you heard me. This time of year, it goes purple. The reason for the purple will become a bit more clear very soon. And lastly, from Michaels this year, someone must have heard my prayers because they had glass coffins. You may remember from last year that I got this glass coffin from Michaels, and I told you that it was the medium-sized glass coffin, and I told you that I wasn't sure what I would do with this glass coffin. It's supposed to be kind of like a topiary. They sell it in the floral section. You're supposed to, like, put moss and little tchotchkes in there and make, like, a floral decoration thing. I haven't done that yet. I did buy some moss, so maybe I can. But when I got it, they were all sold out of the large and small glass coffins. So this year, I made sure to plan ahead that as soon as the glass coffins came on sale, like I didn't even wait for them to go on sale. So I just used one of my regular coupons. So like I had 30% off all regular price items. So I did get them for 30% off, but I got the large and the small size glass coffin. Large and small size to go with my medium size. A full family of glass coffins. All the things I can put in there. But oh no, that's not all. They also had a black glass coffin with little feet. Black glass coffin. A glass coffin with an etched top. This one's much deeper, larger, also with little feet. I love this one. This one may be my favorite. A tall glass coffin with shelves. Glass curio cabinet coffin. Tall glass coffin with shelves and doors. This one opens up. Doors that latch. Also little feet. Rainbow frosted glass coffin with doors and shelves. I feel like I'm in that Muffins video from the early 2000s. Blood. Ghost glass coffin. Look how pretty this one is. And this one, which is not coffin shaped, well, I guess it could be a coffin shape. It's not coffin shaped. It's just a glass box. Also has little feet. I love these. There were more. I had to limit myself. But yeah, Michael's this year on the glass coffins. Last year, I could only get the one because they sold out so fast. But this year, it is all the glass coffins that you can eat. Go get them. Go get your glass coffins. Okay. So we've done the Phantom of the Opera haul. We've done the Michael's haul. Now it's time for the Haunted Mansion merchandise haul. So I told you there was a reason why the purple was relevant. So every year, the Haunted Mansion, Disney's Haunted Mansion Disney Store does a 20% off sale if you have the Disney credit card, which Paul does. So I borrow it and I get 20% off at the Disney Store. And I get their new Haunted Mansion merchandise. This is a new blanket, chenille Haunted Mansion blanket. It's got fringe. I don't know if you can tell, but this is a Haunted Mansion top I'm wearing. Very stylish. You can't see them, but I'm wearing Haunted Mansion jammy pants. You thought I wore real pants when I made these videos? So apparently they did a thing with Her Universe this year, which Her Universe sells Haunted Mansion clothes year-round, and they have some very cool stuff on their website. I'm waiting for it to go on sale. It did go on sale, but I didn't want to spend the money at the time, so I missed the sale. So I'm waiting for it to go on sale again to get, like, they have a cool, like, sweater shrug thing that I really want. But this is from the Disney Store crossover that they have, the Disney Store exclusive Her Universe stuff. This is the skirt, the Haunted Mansion skirt. So I've told you this before. The Haunted Mansion has a lot of different, like, styles. They have a lot of different characters. They have a lot of different vibes. I like the wallpaper pattern. When it comes to Haunted Mansion, I like the wallpaper pattern, which I don't know if you can notice so far. I've shown you my shirt is a wallpaper pattern. My jammy pants are the wallpaper pattern. This skirt is a wallpaper pattern. That blanket was a wallpaper pattern. I don't like Madame Leota. I don't like the Hitchhiking Ghosts. I don't like the Hatbox Ghost. I don't like Gravedigger. I don't like most of the characters. I like the Bride sometimes. It depends. I don't like it when she's too cartoony. I like it when you can look at it and if you don't know, like if you're not a Disney person, you can't tell that it's Disney. Like I like it and you're like, oh, that's a cool gothic looking skirt. And I'd be like, hee, yes, it's Disney. But like the normies don't know. That's the Haunted Mansion stuff I like. I like the stripes. I like the stripe pattern. I like the gargoyle. I like the raven. So this sweatshirt they have, which looks like the uniform that the people wear on the ride. Like when you're getting on the ride, they wear uniforms that kind of look like old Victorian clothes. So it's kind of reminiscent of that. It has the same stripy outfit with like the little Peter Pan collar, but it's got bats on it. And on the back, it has the Haunted Mansion logo. Just like a comfy, cozy sweatshirt. I thought it was cute. This dress, which looked very different in the photos. It was not what I was expecting when it came. It has the same material for the top, but it's short sleeves, but it goes under the dress, and then this is like a plain black velvet dress over it. this old man cardigan, which I absolutely love. This is the coziest thing. This is my favorite thing this year so far. I wear this all the time. The bat hair clip. This is like, you look at it, you're like, oh, it's just such a cheap plastic hair clip, but it's not. This is like the most secure hair clip I have ever put in my hair. This holds my hair so firm. I love this hair clip. This sippy cup is actually from Spirit Halloween, which I was ordering a mask for my Halloween costume for the vampire ball in New Orleans. I was getting a mask for that costume. And I needed to get something else for free shipping, so I got this sippy cup, and this is not the one I ordered. I ordered a different Haunted Mansion sippy cup, but they sent me this one instead, which is cute, and I wouldn't have minded. It's got, like, cartoons of all the characters. It sort of shows the whole ride in cartoon form, except it's got big cracks on it. So now I have to, like, drive all the way to a Spirit Halloween, which they didn't open one by my house this year, so I've got to, like, commute to find one miles away to return this because they don't do free returns on the Spirit Halloween website, so I'm annoyed about this. But it is a cute cup. Also from Spirit Halloween, to get the free shipping, this mug, which you can tell it's Spirit Halloween, is very tacky, like, it says, "Welcome, foolish mortals." It's like crooked, it's sideways, and then the Haunted Mansion here, it's crooked sideways. But I will keep this. I think I ordered this exact mug last year, and this came broken when I ordered it, so I had to return that, but this time I actually will keep it. I like to get one Haunted Mansion mug every year, and the one that the Disney store was selling this year, I think it was sold out and I couldn't get it. Either that or it was just like a character I really didn't like or something. It was one of those two things. So I didn't get the Disney store one, so I got the Spirit Halloween one instead. I get to have my water out of a very large Haunted Mansion mug. This pen has the gargoyle on top and the green stripes. It's a regular black ink pen. Very stylish. Kitchen towel. Hair bow. This is actually from Hot Topic. That's where I got this. But I saw that the Disney store was also selling the same hair bow, or at least one that was very similar. So you can also get this from the Disney store. Another little shoulder pet. This year they did the gargoyle. If you recall, last year they did the raven. And if you patted its head, it cawed, which I would show you to remind you. But one of my fledgling spawn keeps stealing it. This one, you're supposed to pat its head and its lights light up, but you cannot see it because the lights in here are too bright. It has a little magnet. Just put it under your shirt, and then you put it, and then the gargoyle can ride around on your shoulder. I have 2 friends now. Got the very fragile Christmas ornament. The blown glass Haunted Mansion itself Christmas ornament. They did a deck of playing cards this year. Very cool. Comes in a coffin-shaped box. Purple satin lining. So in our face cards, the hitchhiking ghosts are the jokers. Madame Leota is the ace. The bride, of course, is the queen. And the hatbox ghost is the king. And that's the same for all the suits. It's got a really nice texture to them, too. I like that. A new backpack. I love this backpack. It's purple. It's got the bat as the zipper pull. It's like flocked. It's just like, you can tell it's just such a good quality backpack. It's got so many pockets inside. I love pockets. I love this backpack. The bride doll. This is like the cartoon version of her that they've been doing for a few years now. But I couldn't say no. I had to get her. And surprisingly enough, my fledgling spawn did not want to steal this one. And this is really cool. A friend gave this to me. This is like an old top from like years and years and years ago that you can't get anymore. I love this. And then this one, it's like long sleeve button down, I found on eBay. I love this one. I actually, when I went on my travels, I wore these together with like Haunted Mansion leggings, and I was like, oops, all Haunted Mansion, and my Haunted Mansion fanny pack. It was perfect. What? You gotta represent. Like I'm oops, all Haunted Mansion right now. I got the jammy pants. I've got the top. I'm gonna put on that cardigan when I'm done here. And this, I also found on eBay. This is something I've been wanting for a long time. I had it on my wish list back when it was in print, in stock. And then it got discontinued and nobody had bought it for me. Like, I put stuff on my wish list because my family is always like, we don't know what to get you for Christmas. So I had it on my wish list and then it went out of stock. and they stopped making it. So I found this on eBay for like $14. So I was like, heck yeah, I got it. This is the official Disney brand Lego Haunted Mansion Lego set. So yeah, I'm gonna build this. Like, it has like an inside too. Like, it's not just the front of the mansion. Like, it has a whole inside. I've been wanting this for years. Speaking of Legos, this is brand new. This is not Legos. This is like off-brand knockoff. What is the brand? Fantasy. But this is an opera house. It's supposed to look like the Paris Opera House. Of course, it doesn't look very much like it, but it has hints of it. It's got like the angels on the roof. It's got the dome, and it's called the Opera, and it's got like Phantom of the Opera theme stuff. Like there's a minifigure that looks very much like Christine. It's got a banner for Phantom. It doesn't have a minifigure that looks like the Phantom, but this is a full dollhouse style, not Lego set, that you build this opera house, and then it has rooms, multiple stories, staircases, this entire giant Lego set. They sell it on Amazon, and there's a coupon, and like compared to Legos, like if you bought this in a Lego set, it would be like a $400 Lego set. No, this is super cheap because it's off-brand, knockoff Legos made in China. I'm so excited about this. This is brand new. I think this just came out. So you can get this still. The link for this will definitely be on those lists that are in the description of this video. So go check it out. Use the coupon. This is something very interesting. My father gave it to me. So someone had given it to him, and he was like, oh, I thought you should have it. So yeah, my father saw this and thought of me. It is a cane, and it has skulls on it. And it's a novelty cane, kind of like a pimp cane, but it's not just a cane. It is actually a sword cane. So yeah, he saw this and he thought, oh, my child should have this. So thanks, Dad. Yeah, that was fun to bring back home on the airplane. A nice item to include in my vampire museum attraction. That you could come see it. Promise I won't use it on you. So the other day, Paul was at the grocery store and he texts me and he says, bats or skulls? And I'm like, how do you expect me to choose? And it's this image of these two fabric patterns, and I couldn't really tell what they were. I was like, are those curtains? So I picked skulls, and when he brought it home, it was the softest blanket ever. And look, it's not just skulls, it's like skulls and laurels, and look how cute they are. Look how cute and cozy it is. This is from Lidl, which is a nice grocery store. If you have Lidls near you, they are very good prices. It's a nice discount grocery store. They often have very unusual items from other countries that you don't often see in regular grocery stores. And skull blankets. But then I was at the grocery store, different grocery store, and I saw that they had a giant box of Halloween Squishmallows. And I saw on the front of the box that they had like all different kinds in there. And the grocery store worker, she had just put out the box and like cut open the top. And in it, I saw that there were like werewolves, mummies, witches, spiders. But I saw in the picture on it, there was the Grim Reaper Squishmallow. So I started digging through it, looking for the Grim Reaper. He wasn't in there. I guess he was just in the picture for some reason. So there was no Grim Reaper. But there was a bat. This is Emily. Emily the Bat. It's a great name. I love Emily. So squishy. She's huge. But also, while I was digging in there, look who else I found. It's Vlad. You remember Vlad, right? We've talked about Vlad before. We have Vlad. The regular Squishmallow Vlad. But now we have giant Vlad. I told you. The vampire library is full of soft, squishable, comfortable things. You could just curl up here, squish down on a squishmallow, cover up in a skull blanket, read books. You would never have to leave. You think this grocery store squishmallow is big? You ain't seen nothing yet. Pshh, this is medium-sized. Now this is a big squishmallow. Actually, I don't think this is Squishmallow brand. No, I already took off the tag. But this giant bat I got at BJ's, which is like Costco if you don't have a BJ's. And this No, this can't be Squishmallow brand because it was real cheap. Squishmallows are obnoxiously expensive. But this is what Halloween shopping is all about. Is that it? Is that the end of the pile? We did it! Friends, you have no idea how long this video took to film. Thank you for joining us in the Vampire Library this evening. If you'd like to revisit any of the books or things that you saw me display here tonight, please click the links in the description of this video to check out that list. If it wasn't on the list, it's because I don't have a way to link it via Amazon, which is what hosts the list, because that's convenient for me to use. So if you have a question about it, just leave me a comment on this video and ask me, and I will provide you a buy link to it on some other website, because I have that power. I can do that. And comments on the video are good for the algorithm. Please also be sure you go watch that other video I told you about where I interview Amber Benson and Raven Belasco at Hellmouth Con in California, Torrance High School, home of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Hellmouth Con is the Buffy the Vampire Slayer con. It was a wonderful convention. It was a wonderful interview. You're gonna love it. Like I said, we're doing about 4 of these Vampire Library videos a year now. So Halloween edition, the next one will be our Christmas season video. So if you have a book that you would like to be featured in one of these videos, you can send it to my P.O. Box. The address for that is in the description of this video. Make sure you get it to me in time. Usually I do the Christmas season video after Christmas, because by then I have received and opened all the items that I received for Christmas, but not long after Christmas, very shortly after Christmas. So you have about 3 months to send me anything that you would like to be featured in that video, and I will happily share it with all of you in my next Vampire Library video. Or you could give it to me in person if you will be in New Orleans this year for the Vampire Ball on Halloween. I will be there. If you will also be there, please find me and say hello. I love meeting fellow vampires at the Vampire Ball. It's the reason we go there, isn't it? For the rest of you, enjoy your spooky season. Enjoy your Halloween month. Please tell me in the vampire comments what vampire books you are reading this October and what vampire books I should add to my vampire wish list. Spooky reading? Good night.